welcome to Know It Ambassador. My name is Shishala Chikonde.
I'm with Chivanga.
And I'm Sinisha Kalim.
Have you ever been among a group of people and felt misplaced? The people around you are so different to who you are and to what you're used to. You might have even stood out or maybe not. Why? Today we bring to you personality. So I'll ask you, how well do you know yourself? Yes, you. Come on, let's dive in and let's know it. Low self-esteem is something that seems to be affecting our society in many ways. People are uncomfortable in their own skins. Why?
At times, it's because due to different challenges that we face and the way we act to those different challenges. And that's why this afternoon we bring for you personality.
This is because people are following what the world is turning into. They are going in their own ways. But if we do what God asks us to do, we won't do what they are doing or what is happening now.
And if we are educated about personality, we are able to know who we are and how to go about it.
Speaking of personality, what's personality? We seem to be saying it, but what is it?
So personality is the character pattern that defines who you are and makes you unique and different from everyone else. It's a pattern of feelings, behavior, and thoughts. That is personality.
Personality. In the past, I've mistaken personality to be character. What are the differences?
The difference is their personality. This is one's behavior, how someone behaves. But a character is who you are, and it can't be changed. Yes.
And also the difference is that, you're able to notice personality instantly. And for character, it takes a period of time for you to see how that person is. So we're talking about, moral qualities and mental. Also, we have personality. We have patterns of emotions. That's why it's instantly.
So we're saying that character is something that will be noticed after a long period of time through situations, like what you stand for in a certain situation, right?
Exactly.
Personality, many people, they're so different to each other. And I guess it's because we've got different personalities. So what are the differences? What are the different types of personality?
So we have the four main types of personalities, and these are sanguine, choleric, melancholic, and the last one, which is phlegmatic as well. So these are the four main types of personalities that we have.
These words, they sound really scientific, but they're not as scientific as they sound. So don't run away from this. So who's a sanguine, guys?
First, to start with, a sanguine is one of the personalities which people have in this world, which were given by God. A sanguine is a person who is so talkative, so responsive, so outgoing, so easily, and they make good speaker persons. We have one in the Bible who was Peter. Peter was the speaker man for the disciples or apostles of Jesus. Yes.
So these guys are out there. It's like, the way you're explaining, it's like the life of the party kind of people.
Yes.
They're always out there making the place joyful.
Yes.
And these guys, yes, they make the place joyful, but do they have any weaknesses, something that brings them down?
Yes, they do have, because looking at different types of people, no matter how strong you are, you always have that something that will bring you down, right? And if you look at this type of people, these are people who like talking, and they are easily attached to something, and they're outgoing. They like party things, and they like enjoying life. So imagine putting them in a situation whereby they cannot freely express themselves. That itself can make them feel left out of bad. And you can call it a weakness.
Yes.
And you know what? Everyone has a weakness and a strength as well. So we should know that. We shouldn't just say, I've never been weak before. I don't have weaknesses. Because I'm there. I'm always on point. Everyone has that downfall and up.
And the thing with these people is that they're too fast. They act too fast. When you act too fast, you respond too fast, and you usually won't make the right decision, and you end up hurting people, you know.
Yes, that's
and
true.
and even without yourself like, knowing it, you know.
That's why at times they talk without thinking.
Uh-huh.
That's why in some ways in the Bible they say Peter was selfish in some ways. Would talk without him realizing, without the consequences of what he's saying, and without knowing that what am I saying. Yes.
Even forgetting can be something that
Yes.
can be a struggle. They move on too fast.
Yeah, that's too fast.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Too fast.
That's why they easily forget things fast. They forget their birthdays, their anniversary, and all that. In most cases, you find that people take them to be jokers, but they're not really jokers. Yes, they joke at times because they're time for everything. It's not always that they can be found joking around in everything, but they are mostly taken to be jokers because most of the time you find them happy, cracking jokes and all that. Yes.
Mercy, you mentioned something about, forgetting. They're really forgettive people.
Yes.
Like, birthday dates. Oh my gosh, that's a really bad weakness.
Very much. It's
Because
serious.
I actually had a friend who actually forgot my birthday. I told her like yesterday before my birthday, and then she forgot about my birthday, the day that came, and then I was like, why did you forget? And she said, I don't know.
Another personality that we mentioned was cholerics. Who are cholerics? What qualities do they have?
Okay, when you talk of this group of people, these are people who are they are very short-tempered.
And they're also arrogant. They are really arrogant people. Amongst them, they're really decisive. They have good decisions. Rather, they make good decisions. And also, they're ambitious. Even though they're arrogant, they are ambitious and very, I don't know what word, but they're very ambitious.
Yes. And I think the thing with these people is that their mind is so focused on, I want to achieve this. I need to reach this level, this standard, that they won't let anything distract them. They get so stern in their work. They get so serious on their work that they won't accept any yes.
And these people have no time to gossip because of being ambitious. They have not, and they have low emotions. They have no time to pity on emotions or people. These people are bossy. That's how they are, and they make good leaders. Most of leaders who are doing well in our countries, everywhere in this world, they are choleric types. And we have one in the Bible as Paul. Paul is an example of a choleric. Yes.
And from what we're saying, it seems like these guys, it's like the major on weaknesses. But I don't think it's like that. These guys also these things can also be strengths in the way that sometimes you just need that person to get things going. Guys, let's stop playing around. Let's do work, We need to achieve this. We shouldn't be playing all the time, guys.
Be serious with what one is doing. Yes.
And they also make good team players in the sense that even they don't accept defeat. Even if let's say a basketball team, you're losing by how many points? Maybe by 10 points, right? And these guys will still be like, no, guys, we can still do this. We can still catch up. But you're losing, but they'll still get you going. Yeah.
And I really love the positivity of these kind of people.
Yes.
Because they are always positive. In a team, they're
Yes.
always encouraging the others to work hard and to have that passion to win. That's why these kind of people, they have that unique quality. They're so amazing. I love the passion to win that they always have.
They motivate people mostly.
And I don't know why, just looking at their characteristics that you have talked about, I found it to be something that most parents have. I don't know if that's how it is. I don't know if you have noticed that, but I myself have noticed to say most parents possess this kind of personality.
I agree with that.
Yes. You find that most of the time, even when the child does not believe in him or herself, but the parents will be like, you can do this. And whenever they tell you to do something, they don't say you will do it. Whether you yourself you feel that you will do it or not, for them
And
they
there is
believe
hope.
to say you will do it.
And there is hope.
Yes.
You probably use the word extroverts. So sanguines and cholerics fall into this group called extroverts. These guys are outside, they're extra, they talk when, okay, a choleric. At first glance, like, you might think they don't talk, they're just serious. But if you get them going, they'll talk, they'll keep going. Yes. So we're going to move on to another group called introverts. So these are melancholists and phlegmatics. What are melancholists? What are their qualities?
I'll start with phlegmatic people. I think these are very people who are very peaceful. Even if they have something that is going on in their life, they have challenges, difficult challenges, they are able to hide that, and you cannot identify it easily. Unless if you come across someone who will tell you about it, what they are going through in their life, but it's rare for them to be open to someone and tell them what they're facing in life. They would rather like to face things in their own way than exposing it out.
I used to. Okay.
That makes them wise. And being quiet is one of the good things for one to have, like, because of being quiet, they are wise as well. They know how to handle things in their own ways. Yes. And I'm sure in the Bible there was someone who was like that. And one of them was Moses. Moses was like that. If we follow what he was doing, yes, we would see that he's one of the melancholies. Sorry, the phlegmatics.
Yeah.
Oh, you said phlegmatics. Oh,
Yes.
one of them is Abraham, not Moses. Yes.
And honestly, I like this kind of people again because they have that, they're quiet, yes, they're relaxed. As Messi said, they're peaceful. And also, they have pity on others. They have that sympathy. And they also hide emotions, which is bad.
Yeah.
And weak up. Yes.
So these guys can also be good listeners, taking the fact that they're quiet themselves and they're warm, They don't want to be the ones always talking, Yes, so it could be quite cozy around these people. I used to have a friend, actually, who things would be happening like chaos, and this person is just laid back, relaxed, like, what's wrong with this person,
So if we bring a lion and maybe one of us is,
No, they would ask.
run away because we are relaxed, and all that. Do they have?
Yes, they do have weaknesses, just like everyone has weaknesses. The thing with these people is that they think too much, and because of that, they can fall into depression really easily, and you might not even notice it because they're hiding it. Because, okay, I can tell a phlegmatic, you should be speaking up. Why are you so quiet? You should be active, Those guys, I might take things to heart, like, why am I like this? Why don't I talk, Yeah, so that could be a big weakness because they think too much.
That way, they don't know how to express themselves in some ways. Yes. Maybe that's the reason why they have that strong weakness to say they are relaxed. Much of the times with them, they don't know how to talk like these others.
Another one that we have, just like phlegmatics, is melancholics. What are their qualities?
So melancholics. Okay. So these people are analytical people. They really like to think about, let's say they have an issue at hand, and they really think about it in-depthly. So that's why these people, they have that character. And they're also wise people, quiet, and they are deep feelers as well.
Any other strengths that they might have, taking the fact that they're analytical, what could come out of that? What's something good that will be brought from that? That they think too much, that they take things into precaution, that they're looking at numbers, like, what would be the cost of doing this? How much energy will it take?
These people, I think, they take things into consideration. They think too much.
Yeah.
That may cause harm to them. One has to explore the world, but in a godly manner, not like what is going on right now. Youths are everywhere, going out of the path of Jesus, what he said before he went to heaven. Yes. So I think with these people, they have the problem of thinking too much. If something is brought before them, they have to think like
Okay, and
they don't act.
and also saying these are the kind of people who are prone to stress and depression as well, right? So
Thinking too much can cause high blood pressure. You know that. You may find someone is sick from nowhere. He has high blood pressure. How did this person get to have this disease? How to have this problem? It's because of thinking too much. Yes.
And that can also be a good thing in the sense that sometimes you just don't need someone to act there, and then you have to think of the problems that will arouse from that. Like, what will happen if I do this? So these people can
Again,
come
it's a
in
good
handy.
part.
Yes.
Right thing to do.
Yes.
Yes, thinking is not wrong. My own way of understanding. It's not wrong for someone to take time to think. Because as you are thinking, you want to think about the negatives and the positive part. So now imagine the only problem which comes in is when it's because they take too much time to think. Even a decision that is needed just there and then, for them they will take weeks, months, and all that. Imagine it's a proposal. Someone wants to marry you, they propose to you. Will you marry me? Then you're like, let me go and think about it. You take years. Maybe they've even moved on, they've even proposed to someone else. That's when you come back. You remember last time you proposed and I was still thinking about it. Now I accept. So that's the problem. And they miss opportunities, job opportunities. Just because they want to think about it. What are they thinking about it? And in most times you find that what they are thinking about doesn't even really make sense. Let's say should observe much in kids who have this kind of personality. You ask them to say, put for me charcoal on the brazier. Then the child will be like, so what will happen if I want to put the charcoal on the brazier? You tell them, say, what? I just told you to put charcoal on the brazier. And they'll be like, they want to know what will happen if they won't do it. They will be like, okay, if I want to do it, then what? They want to know the negatives and the positives, the benefits that they're going to get from what they're going to do. That's
So we've given you the 4 main personality types, and some of you might find yourselves familiar with all of them, or maybe just 2 of them. So is it possible for a person to be familiar with all of them, to be all these personality types, or what?
Yes, it's very much possible for one to belong or to possess 2 personalities at a go. But it depends with where you're weighing more. Yes, for example, I'm a sanguine and I feel like I'm a choleric. But most of things, how I behave, suits the choleric type. Meaning, I'm more a choleric than a sanguine. Yes.
okay. I will say myself. I just discovered my personality and I found out that my personality is phlegmatic. But you find that in most cases, I have characteristics of a sanguine. And when I'm in a group of friends, they think I'm a sanguine. But I'm not. And at times that brings argument. They'll be like, but you talk too much. And all that. Yes, I talk too much. But if you look at my characteristics of my personality, you find that I wear much on phlegmatic than on sanguine. So you find that people will be confused, but I myself, I know myself.
Oh yes, so Mercy has found it.
So I've now given you the 4 personality types. So some of you out there watching might find yourselves familiar with all of them, or maybe just 2 of them, or just 1. So is it possible for a person to be familiar with all of them, to be all these personality types, or just 2? Is it possible?
Yes, it's very much possible for one to possess 2 types or 3 or more than that. Because you may find that you are a sanguine, but you possess characteristics of a melancholy or choleric. Like me, example, I'm a choleric, but I possess some of the personalities which are found, which are from a melancholy or phlegmatic. So it's very much possible for one to possess 2 types of personalities or more. Maybe you weigh more on the other than the one you think you are. Yes.
So the example I would give is of myself. I myself, I discovered my personality and I just found out that I'm phlegmatic. But you find that I possess some characteristics of a sanguine. And when I'm in a group of people or group of friends, they say I'm a sanguine. But then we start arguing to say I'm not a sanguine because I know myself, I know my personality. So you see the importance of discovering your personality. Other people will say you are a sanguine, but you know yourself, you have discovered it yourself. And so even if other people argue with you, you know to say I'm a sanguine. And I understand why they say I'm a sanguine because for them they only see the part of me behaving like a sanguine, but in the actual sense, I'm a phlegmatic.
So Mercy has already found out
Her personality.
It's very much easy to know your personality. It's very much easy for one to know his or her personality. How easy is that?
Very much. There are many ways in which you can find out your personality.
Really?
You can, yes. So if you want to find out your personality, you can go to Uncle Google. You can research on personality, and there's a test which is brought for you. You fill in the questions that they're going to ask you. You fill in the details and everything. At the end of the test, it's going to bring for you the results. And those results will tell you who you are according to the way you behave. Apart from that, also you can tell your personality by the colors you love, your favorite colors. This one is the most interesting thing.
Yeah, I also need to do that.
Yes, it's the most interesting thing.
Very much.
It's very easy.
So, guys, is it that you can group these personalities in categories, and is one personality better than the other, or it's just the same?
To start with, about the categories, right?
Yes.
Let's say I go on Google and I type in what's my personality. I put in my qualities, like how I respond to different things, and it tells me I'm a sanguine or I'm a choleric. People would take that as a label, like that's who you are. So let's say I'm going through a situation and I'll go on Google and be like, how would a choleric react to this situation, And I'll follow that. No, it's not your guide. It's not your guide. You're who you are. I might be a sanguine, she might be a sanguine, but we're different, you see? So we have to know each other. We need to know ourselves. And you asked something about
one personality being better than the other.
No, that one, there's no personality that is better than the other.
But from what you have said, some of the personalities sounds like they are richest or they are better than the other one.
Yes, that's why now we'll take you to the biblical teaching. It says, God created man in his image. But then after creating you in God's image, that doesn't mean that you are all same. You have been given different personalities. The way you act to something and the way you act to something is different. So you see, imagine now if all of you were given the same way of thinking and the same way of dealing with things. Who fulfill the other position? So you find that God gave you a different personality from her. So that when you come together, this one will be able to fit in that position which is fitable for her, and you also do your parts, and together you finish the work and perfect.
Okay. Moreover, the Bible says we are all unique in our own ways because we are made in God's image, meaning we are just one and the same. Yes, as God says, He wants us to be perfect, just like Him.
And speaking of that, what you guys both said, there's a verse in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 14 to 18. It says, "For the body does not consist of one member, but many. If the foot should say, 'Because I'm not the hand, I do not belong to the body,' that would not make it any less part of the body. And if the ear should say, 'Because I'm not the eye, I do not belong to the body,' that would not make it any less part of the body. The whole body were an eye. If the whole body were an eye, what would be the sense of hearing? If the whole body were an ear, what would be the sense of smell? But as it is, God arranged the members in the body, each one as He chose them to be." So we all have our uses, unique uses. We're all different from each other. Just because I'm a sanguine or choleric, right? Doesn't mean,
You know it all.
yes, you know it all, you know. We also need melancholy, so we also need phlegmatics, okay? Right?
Everyone is needed.
Yes.
Everyone he or she was created for a purpose. Because imagine, guys, since the sanguine, they are said to be lively, so talkative, happier everywhere. Like, and they make good actress and actors. Now, in speaker persons, like when it comes to functions like weddings, now imagine you take a colic there. How is that wedding going to be? Hey,
Boring.
Imagine you make one mistake and all of you end up being slapped at the
Imagine.
wedding.
But anyway,
frogged everywhere.
yeah, everyone is unique. And, yeah, so we should be happy for who we are.
Yes.
And speaking of all these personalities, why are we talking about personalities? Why are we talking about these different personalities? Why? What's the whole point? You know, I could just go from here and say, I'm a choleric, but so what? You know?
I think one needs to know his or her personalities, which is the good thing for everyone, every one of us, as long as you're a human being, because you may know and you know how to handle yourself as well as the environment where you are. Because you can't tell someone, like, maybe you know how to say, if I say this to this person, how he or she feel, and you know the right words to use on that particular place or person. Because, example, this is a phlegmatic. There's a sanguine. The sanguine, you may tell the sanguine, say, your shoe is not good. It's not that good. Or your dress doesn't match, or it's not good. Then he or she will laugh about that because you take it as a joke, because that's how he or she is. But if you tell a melancholy or a choleric, he will say, you just end up getting upset, saying this person is out of his mind. Why is this person saying like this? So one has to know his or her personality, to know how to handle and to know what kind of words to use on others as we walk in a godly way. Yes. Because if we follow what the biblical words say, we know how to handle ourselves.
Yes, and apart from that, also not the other purpose of knowing the types of personality and all that is that you'll be able to identify other people's personality and you value them because you understand who they are. They are different from you, and you take it the way they are, and you learn to respect them because of their different personality.
There's a verse in Philippians chapter 2, verse 3 to 7 that says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility count others better than yourselves. Each of you should look not only to his own interests, but to the interests of others. Your attitude should be that of the same of Christ Jesus, who being in the very nature of God, did not consider equality with God something to be grasped, but made himself nothing, taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness. So we need to, it's not only about you. Some people might say, oh, deal with it. I'm like this. You have to deal with it. It's your problem. It's not my fault, you know. But God called us to live, to count others more important than ourselves, you know. It's not, think about how this other person will feel. When you say this, when you act like this, how will this person feel, you know? So we're called to live and to love doing that, you know. It's not only about you, you know. Get that fact in.
So my take home is, now that you have discovered your personality and you have learned it, learn to respect other people's personality and also value them because they are not like the way you are. You are all created for a purpose.
My take home point is that God can use our strengths and our weaknesses. He can improve us to be better people and can also use our gifts. So let's give our gifts to him.
And my take home is, I'll give a verse. Psalms 139, verse 14, which says, I promise, for I am fearfully set apart. Wonderfully are your words. It talks about, God created us wonderfully, and we should appreciate who we are because God has made us well, and we should be humble to others as well. So that's my take home. Just be humble.
And my take home goes to our dearest parents, our parents and children out there. Parents, if you know your personality and understand how you are, it's easy for you to develop or to control your child, how he or she he will be able to grow in a godly manner. So it's good to know your personality. Know your personality now that there's still time. Yes.
We've now come to the end of our lesson. Thank you for watching, and I hope you took something from that. Feel free to comment and ask any questions that you might have. Also, check out the links that we have in our video description to get to know your personality even more, to get to know who you are, and to gain confidence, Watch out for our next videos, and don't forget to click, like, and share.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.